What's happening, everybody, and happy Sunday. We're back. This is Theros International. I'm your host, Adi, and I'm joined by Lambro and Marcial. We are all here to chat about what just happened today, what this means for the rest of the Super League race going forward, and of course, the other matches that we are looking forward to. So before we get started, Lambro, Marcial, boys, how are we doing today?
I'm doing good. Adi, frustrating game. I think it was like the story of our season, this game, of so many quality chances and so many missed opportunities. But this time the story's a little different and we pull out the result. So happy for the results. Also, does anyone know what time it is in Greece? Someone in the chat dropped that in.
Like 11? It's 11 at night.
It's 11?
11:20
at night? Anyway, Moscow, go ahead.
For the amount of time we've said the derbies were the weakness of the team, and it applies to last season, man. It's so good to win derbies, even if it's not the best game we've had. It was a frustrating game, as Labro said, but at the end of it, I'm trading any ugly win or stressful win, I should say, over better performances without the win at the end of it. And the improvement on derbies is massive, and I hope it will make a difference at the end of the season.
It definitely will. These are games that we would have dropped points in the past. We all remember those games. So to see the team still fighting and able to come back and do something, even when after PAOK leveled it against us, to keep fighting, to keep their heads up even after they're missing chance after chance after chance is huge. And today, the more stress was put on us. We had a huge opportunity with Panathinaikos dropping points. Then Ike gets a red card against Asteras, so they had a man advantage. They end up winning that game. I think it was 3-0 in the end. So we had to win to keep pace as this two-horse race for the title is beginning to emerge. Guys, before we start talking about the game, don't forget to like and subscribe. Any additional red and white people that we find, the community, the only way we find them is if we get more engagements. The more you engage with us, the more people we find. This channel, this project is growing every day on all platforms. And we can't do that without you. So take a quick second. I only saw 6 likes when we started, and there's over 70 of you in here. So take a quick second, hit that like button. And if you're here for the first time, you like what you hear, follow us, check out our content, and then you can visit us on Patreon as well. We have a fantastic WhatsApp group, which is always debating, always arguing, always lively any time of the day. And it's hysterical too. So check it out. It's just $1 a month, and I promise you $1 well spent. We also have watch-alongs. We have extra content, scouting reports, interviews, all great stuff coming on that, and a merchandise tier. So come check that out, patreon.com/Theros7 International. You guys will love all of that. Now, before we talk about the game, a big shout out, big congratulations to the men's and women's water polo teams. They won their respective Greek Cups today, both of them. So really huge. The 322nd and 323rd pieces of silverware for this club. Olympiacos is the most successful and largest multi-sport club in the world. So congratulations to both of them. Really great. And then in the past, we've had some big wins from, I think it was women's basketball and volleyball, if I'm not mistaken, as well. Greek Cup wins. So great on all of them. Fantastic to see all of our Olympiacos sports doing so well in all of their sports. So we're really happy about all that. We congratulate them. Now let's talk about the match today. Lambro and Marcel shared some brief opinions about it. So Olympiacos gets the win today, and the big thing that we're going to talk about, of course, is, we needed the 3 points for the reasons that were just talked about earlier. But again, today is just another day where we create so many opportunities, but we cannot find a way to keep them on target. We still ruin so many transitions with just terrible decisions, awful decisions, giving up the ball in the final third very hastily, and it's just absolutely insane. This is the worst and least efficient Olympiacos side that we have seen since we have data for it, since 2015. I cannot find an Olympiacos that has underperformed relative to XG like this, that has created as many big scoring chances as we do, and has as many opportunities inside the penalty area. So this team has done so much, improved on so many things, but my God, our final product is horrible, all things considered. If we scored even a third of the chances we've screwed up on, this title race would not even be close. Same thing in the Europa League, which we're more efficient in. But it's absolutely insane. And it's frustrating, like Lambro said, but you take the win, you take the 3 points. Guys, I want your opinions on the game. Martial, let's start with you.
Well, the games against PAOK are always special because you don't really know what you're gonna have from PAOK, and PAOK is 2 or 3 teams at the same time. The beginning of the game, like, they were decent. I found Madi very, very good on the first half, not because he scored, but because he was creating the danger. But the thing is, sometimes you just wonder how Lucescu won titles in Greece with the squad he has, because when Madi is good, you have Constantelias that disappears. When they finally have Samara playing nice, you have this Zivkovic that can't dribble anymore. Like, the guy was offering very little today. And the defense overall is very shaky. So we needed to score the first goal, and it came out of nowhere almost, like the free kick from Rodinei. And to be honest, I was expecting PAOK to fall down. And if they didn't have Madi, they would have fallen down, because the goal he scores, only Madi can score that goal for PAOK. They don't have, I don't know, this team is so strange, because at the end of the game, if you remember, we had so many situations because they were empty, like no energy left. Sastre not even finishing the game, and like, I think Despodov is kind of done for PAOK. The bench is empty. So yeah, it's no mystery that we won big time against PAOK, like either last season at Tuba, this season at Tumba too. It's a team that fits us quite nicely, and the sensation you have at the end of those games, it's very strange, because we should have won 4-1, 5-1 probably. I don't know. And you have those guys at PAOK that can score out of nowhere, like the volley from Schwab. I don't know. It's very weird games to analyze for me.
Yeah. I think for me, also I asked what time it is because Super Bala Live on Mega is at midnight. So I know a lot of the viewers will be tuning off to go listen to the comments there. So I wanted to make sure we're not overlapping. But Maddie was on TV just talking. I didn't listen to what he said. But the main thing for me coming out of this game was the Carmo struggled so much. And I think what is going to win us the title, if we win this title, knock on wood, everyone, and if we go far in Europa League, is the consistency in the defense and goalkeeping that we have as a club. Like, the fact that Carmo, who was by far our best defender last season, was having a shocking first half. And we said, okay, fuck you, we're bringing on Pirola. And Pirola, for me, was probably the best player on the pitch. Our defense, our Giancon, Rezos, Carmo, Pirola, they're the best central defenders in Greece for me. Like, I was looking at the IKE game today, and it's like Mitoglu, Vida, that back line of PAOK, man. Like, where did those guys come from, man? Like Johnny Otto and the central defenders. Like, who are these guys, man? Like, who are these guys? Like, Lovren was injured. They had Koli. They had Michalidis for a while. Now it's like it's a disaster, man. And it's the same with IKE, man. Like 36-year-old Vida and Mitoglu comes now, and they had Callens, and then Callens is out for the season. Like, what the fuck is that? Lazaros Rota, Haji Safi. It's what will win us the league is that we are strong defensively as a unit, and we have very high-level central defenders for me. Like, any one of our central defenders would start on any of the big Greek teams this season. And it makes a huge difference. Rodinei was good, like, we're slowly, as a squad, this unit of players has played a lot of big games and derbies together against superior opponents, defenders, wingbacks. And I feel like tonight was difficult because we were a bit cold. I could say that we hadn't played like a derby in a few weeks now, or European game. But you just felt the quality was going to win out at some point from Biancone and Pirola, and Martins was producing. But seriously, to me, the big takeaway for me tonight was just reinforced about how good our central defense is. That partnership, it's just so important to what we do. And yeah, I took that away. Even when we're struggling up front, as long as teams don't score, like they scored a very Mickey Mouse kind of like, like a human mistake from Carmo and blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
But, if we don't concede consistently and give up stupid opportunities, we're going to be in every match we play in, and it's going to be frustrating when we don't convert. But the fact of the matter is we're all of this season, maybe except Lyon, like you felt like we were in it every single game we've played. Like I think we're 20 games plus unbeaten. Like this team doesn't beat itself. It's always in it to get the result. And, sometimes it's frustrating in our creativity, but, I just think the team is playing at a way where it's very difficult to beat us, and that's going to be very difficult for Ike. I think we match up quite well with Ike, like say that, knock on wood, everyone's. But, I think we match up very well with Ike to hit them on the counter. Their wing backs are not very good defensively. So their wingers don't track back very well. So we're really well positioned to win this title. It's just like the next few weeks, like literally maybe this week will determine the domestic performance of this season. So it's very exciting.
I agree with everything you said, Lambro, in that respect. Our back line for me, and including the goalkeeper, like I don't think we've had this balanced of a back line with a good goalkeeper. I'm trying to think of
depth, man. The depth,
yeah,
it's insane. It's insane.
Exactly. Like think about it. Last year, would you have subbed Carmo out? Who would you have subbed him out for if he was having a bad game? Like we know
Jackson Poroso, dude. Like
right.
That's the thing.
No, you can't.
Like it's insane the quality of central defenders we have. Like right now, the amount of shit we have seen as a club as like central defender.
Yeah.
Like, just think through the years, like Freire, Miranda, like the list goes on. Like even at peak times under Martins, like Meria, shit show. We didn't have good defenders, man. Like we didn't have consistent central defensive play, and we would have good goalkeepers, but then we'd have one good center back, and then one who was kind of shaky, but it was never like this where it's like we have four and they all play differently. Like Biancone comes in, he can drive the ball forward, play off like almost as a right back, putting in a cross, and so comfortable on the ball, and it's just like we can almost play different football by the different central defenders we play, and I wouldn't say it hampers our game; it changes the way sometimes we play, and it's just like a golden generation of defending at Olympiacos, like right now, the defensive line for me.
You're absolutely right. And it's not just them either. Like, we have the defense. Tsolakis is just his confidence, man. Seeing him come out and going to like the top of the box, outside of the box to stop, a transition from PAOK, or like Samata was running onto something. And I think it was who was in front of him. Biancone was running, and Tsolakis comes out of the penalty area and just clears the ball out. Like, how many times have we seen our goalkeepers hug the goal line? They will never come out. And maybe the defender screws that up, and then we get an opportunity against us. Then you have our midfield, man. Like our midfield, our press today, even in the parts of the game where we weren't doing well, our midfield and our press was pretty effective, man. We were able to stifle so many of their transitions and keep them outside of the penalty area. So that's another thing that has been very good. Like, and another reason why I like our matchup against Ike better than I have in previous seasons. Ike has destroyed us in the last couple of seasons with their diamond midfield. I know they don't have the same pieces that they had, but man, they used to rip through us. And now things are a little bit more compact. We have a much more advanced scheme on the defensive side. It's a lot harder for teams to do that unless they're able to catch us on the counter. So we have so many great looks. We have so much more balance in this team. There's a reason why we had the best defense in the Europa League. We have by far the best defense in Greece. We also have one of the best offenses in Greece. We haven't been able to say that since I think maybe the 2019-2020 season, or maybe 2021 with Pedro Martins. Like we're so good on both ends of the ball with pieces here and there that maybe we could improve on, but the team itself is fantastic. And this is a title winning team. Like you see today, right? You know what PAOK can do, even if they're inconsistent. They're amazing away. They have a better away record this year than they do a home record. And for all intents and purposes, we should have won this game 3-4-1. We made enough opportunities to do that. This team is the best team in Greece. It's the best roster, period, regardless of whatever whining you hear about Podens, Fortounis, and whatever. This team is the best. It's the deepest. It's the best in Greece. This is a title-winning side. So, and all of that was confirmed for me. Man, I really just want to see this team work on finishing in training. If we can put away even a tenth of the opportunities we screw up, this title is done. It's done and dusted. AEK is our competition for the title right now. They don't play as many games as we do. They're not in European competition. That is who we are fighting for the title with. And if we can beat them in this upcoming game and put a 5-point difference going into the playoffs, that's huge. That's absolutely huge.
I think the one thing now that this is like evening, now that Panathinaikos basically, I wouldn't say like probably out of the title race though, is like, what is the different, like you can take it in two ways. Is AEK at an advantage that they have less games and less competitions? Or two, are we at an advantage that we're playing so many high-level, highly competitive matches all season in Europe, derbies, etc., that AEK has not played because they've been out of Europe. You know, like we have played away at difficult, like that game at Malmo, you know, like we beat them. Like that was a difficult place to go play and win. Like we played in, you know, we've played in a lot of difficult places in Europe and got results this season. And AEK, you know, has only played domestically, which is like they're going to be more rested, etc. But like we're going to have that advantage of having played so many games where we had to stay focused. We had to switch on. Like if you make a mistake, you're killed. Versus AEK, who hasn't had that so much other than the derbies domestically. So I'm really curious to see like how this comes. It's going to be really intriguing how this is going to play out. Because I can see both ways. Someone saying, oh, they have more rest time, etc. But I do think, you know, the lack of playing Europe hurts Greek teams domestically because you don't test yourself as much mentally. Marcia, what do you think about that? Like, I don't know what you think of the title race and any other thoughts.
I agree with the fact that Europe tested you because, for example, the limitation we've seen with PAOK in Europe, especially in defense, we've seen the same one tonight. Like Sastre, Otto, Kedzora are too poor to beat us Olympiacos that no one really beats in Europa League. So for the competition we have in Greece shows that it comes close to what you find in some European games. And the fact that AEK were barely able to make anything in Europe over the past 2 years indicates that they do have quality. Offensively, they do have quality. Guys like Eliasson is on a massive run. I think the fact that he stayed at the club, the fact that Almeida stayed at the club too, was key for him to finish. I think he's going to be like Zuber when they won the title. You know what I mean? He has been very clutch on game that matters.
Yeah.
But I'm really curious to see this game because I do agree with Ari. The team is the squad overall is the best in Greece. Probably to me is the best that we've seen over the past years. It's better than Martin's during the prime years, in my opinion. Maybe if we had a player like Madi in midfield instead of Dani Garcia, let's say, the team would be even more complete without Madi being a starter, but off the bench. No, it's up to us. It's up to us. And I'm seeing comments about Velde, and the thing I want to say is that Velde has been playing tonight as he should have played since the beginning. When he doesn't create offensively, at least is putting some effort to play for the team, which was the major issue with Velde at the beginning because he was playing for himself mainly. And the fact that it wasn't great, but it was winning falls and defending. It's what you need when you're winger with Mandeliba. You get to play 1 hour with that.
Yeah. No, Veld per 90 draws more fouls than any other player on Olympiacos.
We don't need our wingers to win us games. Like, that's not the play style we're going for. That's not. I saw Iliason's like goal today, and it would be really nice to have a player like Iliason, like at the club. But what we need is just like to keep staying strong defensively and converting the chances we do produce on the press. Like, that's my major opinion. I think Andre Horta today was very important. Like, what he showed today, like with Chiquinho coming out, people were worried if he was ready to step up to the plate and take some minutes. And I think we can trust on Horta to create and play in the mid. I would start him against AEK midweek. Maybe slight. I think the manager will make slight rotation. Again, we have Costinha, who Zenit tried to buy for like 14 million euros. I think the reporting was like we reported that on the bench. Didn't even play today. Didn't on the bench. Costinha, like, again, very top player, great defender. I'm looking forward to these games against AEK because it's such a clash of different styles, of how two teams decided to set themselves up and build their squad. AEK completely went for that star power sort of macho approach with Lamela and Martial, and we don't have that, with Velde, as the players are talking, like we're players the chat's talking about. But it's more of a team unit. I don't see Anthony Martial tracking back as well and jumping into tackles defensively in Europe or in derbies. I haven't seen him do it yet. Maybe we're going to see him do it this weekend. But it reminds me of the Olympiacos team with Pep Biel, James, Fortunis, Bakambu, all these big personalities that could kill you at any point. But it's just like, it's a bit of a like fake haze, of hiding the Rota, Haji Safi shit show at the back,
If AEK sold Iliasson to Santos in January, then the league would be done already.
Yeah, I agree.
He's the only player I currently fear in this league, because I do fear AEK as a whole, of course. I'm not going to lie, but Iliasson is the kind of player like that reminds me of Zivkovic when they do play well. Like, he can take set pieces, he can cross, he will defend, he can pass the ball, he can finish. It doesn't even need to dribble the player to be a constant threat. And he hasn't been playing that much at the beginning of the season for some reasons. And it's going to finish super strong. We know that. So let's see. But I'm really scared, if I can say that, by that guy, because he has won the league already. He knows how to do. He knows how to win the league. And sometimes we've seen that it matters. Having a player that knows how to win a league matters. But they don't really have depth. Like, if Martial or Lamela gets injured, you have Pineda and Eliasson. They were about to sell those guys, man. Those clubs aren't serious when you think about it. They wanted to sell those guys.
Yeah, I don't think we're at the same squad depth of AEK, to be honest.
There's no way. AEK has no defensive squad depth. Maybe offense, maybe, but I'm not gonna. No, I don't agree with that statement.
I don't think so.
I don't agree with that statement at all. I also I don't understand where some of this stark pessimism is coming from. Like the comment here from Poco Elth, and there was one earlier from Lakis Gavalas, who's pessimistic even in the best of times. But Poco Elf here says, yes, I'm amazed with the optimism today. Vel didn't help Ortega at the goal of PAOK. Horta was good, but we were 11 versus 10 at that moment. Johnny Otto didn't come off until like near the 90th minute. And also, even before that happened, we had in the first half, we had created more than PAOK did. The battle in this game was in the midfield most of the match. It was back and forth. But here's the difference. PAOK had more losses, like giveaways, than we did. We were winning the ball more than PAOK was. We were giving up the ball in the final third when they were retrieving the ball. So there's a little bit of a difference here. All right. So I understand maybe why some of you are frustrated, maybe at the fact, okay, Johnny Otto comes off, we start making more opportunities. Yeah, of course. But even before that, it was a tough game. It was always going to be a tough game, but we were still looking better than they were. They only had good opportunities when they got us on the counter, when either Veld got caught forward or Ortega was getting caught forward.
Musaki's mistake.
Musaki's
Gotta be
mistakes. Like,
said,
this
yeah.
is what I'm talking about. We were giving up bad passes, very bad passes, and giving them counters versus a lot of the stuff. We had a lot of dual wins. Even though I think they ended up with more dual wins overall on the defensive side of things, our press was way more effective versus we had so many giveaways where we had no idea where that pass was going. Musakitis, in particular, he had a bad game today, giving stuff away all over the place. So I'm kind of disagreeing here with this. We were the better team overall. It was always going to be tough. PAOK is the best away. They have the best away record in the league. They're the best away team in the league. So I don't understand what people are expecting here. And we still should have scored 3-4 goals. I don't get it. I really don't.
I'm about to throw someone into the stage. Be ready for the new winter signing that isn't registered in the European list.
Costa, what's going on, man?
People were expecting, like, I don't know.
I don't get it,
It must
man.
be a bit of a disappointment after that introduction.
Look, I'm just gonna say this. I don't understand some of the pessimism here. Also, Lakis Gavalas made a point saying that PAOK won more duels, which is true. They did win more duels overall, but they had to play defense more than we did. So they had more duel scenarios than we did. Their percentages weren't that much better than ours. And I don't get how we lost the midfield. Did you guys think we lost the midfield today?
In the first half with Musakitis, I think we struggled in the midfield.
Yeah, I mean, and Danny, yeah. I didn't like the Danny Garcia start, but when Jose was on the field, that was it. That was game. So we had a substitute in the midfield with Musakitis who had a bad game. I really don't understand. I really don't understand where this pessimism is. I don't get it. I don't know what the expectation was.
Whoa.
There's a lot of
you're saying people are saying hang on. People are saying we lost the midfield. I think the game in the first half was very up and down.
It was very even.
Look, as a first comment, like as a general comment, because I don't want to repeat what you guys have already said. You guys have been on already more than half an hour. It was a proper playoff game, man. Like it was super intense. A taste of things to come, I would say. I'm not really surprised. I was living that game on edge. I was very fearful because it's the story of our season, man. What are we good at? We're really good. We're really solid defensively. It's the reason why we finished top 8 in the Europa League. We're not efficient in front of goal. We're not efficient in front of goal. We should have finished that game 3-1, 4-1 so many times over in the second half, particularly at the end there. And you're just banging your head on the wall. You're just like, oh my God. And I was fearing that, the laws of football, you miss so many chances, the other team's going to have one and they're going to equalize. And it didn't happen. And we were lucky today. We were lucky to win that game. Like, I can understand the pessimism because Olympiacos fans so demanding and that it was such a thin line between winning and dropping points today, which we couldn't afford going into the game against AEK. I mean, PAOK were playing one of their last dice today. They're coming in off getting thrown out of Europe by Steaua Bucharest, or FCSB, excuse me if any Romanians are watching. So, and knowing that they need to win to get to get back into this title race. And I'm still not writing them off. I mean, last season they were 11 points behind, and they still ended up winning the league.
Yes, I think earlier than this point, but yes.
Yeah. So I mean, look, important that we got the 3 points on the midfield topic. Like, I think the early goal, it just opened the game up, and it was going up and down, like pretty crazy. The moment I thought we lost the midfield was that kind of 20-25 minute spell that PAOK had in the second half, where they were just moving the ball, possessing. It was a good, like, kind of 15-20 minute spell. Was it from the 60th minute, like, until the 75th, around that? Like, they were moving the ball around a lot, man. And that's when, if anything, I thought Heze kind of took time for him to get into the game. And we were more on the back foot, like waiting to hit them on the counter, like more than anything. And then when they went down to 10 men, we rebalanced the game a bit more, which you would expect. But I don't know, like, somebody, like, quite a few people commented on our last live stream, I think, or was it, against Asteras. People were like, the fan base is so up or down, like super happy or super, like, annoyed, depressed, like, oh, we're shit, oh, we're excellent. You know, so I'm not surprised that people are a little bit upset with the performance today, but, you know, result justifies the means here.
I'm gonna be honest though. Like, even with what you said, I wasn't upset. Like, I expected it to be difficult. I expected a midfield battle today. I expected this to be maybe like a 1-goal game, a 1-0, 2-1. That I didn't expect anything else. I was happy to see we could create more chances. I have more issues with individuals today than anything else. You know, maybe the start with Danny Garcia, considering how much rest everybody had. I think Heze should have started, but this is what happened today is really what I expected. PAOK is kind of all over the place. They have great quality and they're great on the counter. I knew they would stress us here and there, but I didn't. Again, I have a very hard time agreeing that today was a really big struggle for us, because I didn't see PAOK materialize enough scoring opportunities for me to say, oh, man, they overran us today. This is our style this year, man. You know, as long as they're not entering the penalty area, as long as we're not giving them clear scoring opportunities, we've done that all season. I know it's not pretty. I know the expectations for some Olympiacos fans are different. Why what?
Why are we singling out Danny Garcia?
No. I'm just saying I just pointed that out as like one start I wouldn't have made today. But I mean, today we had really bad.
I thought he had a good game.
I thought it was okay by the end.
I agree, he was good. I think he brought stability to the team when Mouzakidis was a bit all over the shop.
Mouzakidis was bad for me. Mouzakidis and El Kabi were the worst today. They were the worst.
I think both Mouzakidis and Danny Garcia did a lot of running today in the first half. Like, they were getting in the duels and they were putting their bodies on the line. Mouzakidis included. Like, okay, I know Labro, you guys mentioned the crossfield ball that led to one of their counters, and that was bad. He ran his socks off to try and get back for that. So credit. You know, you expect that. He did what you expect. Okay, he's going to make mistakes, man. But to stick with Danny Garcia, boys, the clearance he makes in the 55th minute after that corner on the far post, that's a goal. If he doesn't get his head to that, they equalize.
That's one situation.
I don't know who it was on the far post.
Danny Garcia gave the ball more times today than any other player on the field for us. He gave the ball away. I didn't see him win a lot of duels in the midfield. Also, I saw him getting overrun.
I think he was. I think he was one of our best players today. Him, Costulas,
Danny Garcia,
and particularly in the first half. In the first half, I think he held the midfield together. If you can even say that, because again, the tempo of the game was not. Right. It was not a steady tempo, but he was strong. He was strong in the duels. Like we know what we face against PAOK every time. The kind of midfielders they have, Ozdoev didn't play today, but
No.
Madi Camara, we know Madi Camara better than most. He's strong, he's athletic, he's fast. Who else was it? And Schwab. Like, we know it's a physical battle against PAOK every time. And I think he matched that. Like, okay, I know there's always this thing we've talked about this season about Danny Garcia. Should he be playing in the league in these kinds of games at home? But honestly, like, I think for me, he's, again, that header on the corner. Do you think we would have scored after that?
No, probably not. But like, that doesn't excuse, like, I don't know, man. I saw Madi beat him like a drum today in the first half. Danny Garcia, I only remember him winning one ball like on the ground all half in the first half. I couldn't remember him winning much at all.
No, come on. No, come on.
I think I remember Moussakitis winning more than he did. And Moussakitis gave the ball away a lot today. Like that, my issue with Moussakitis today was more not the effort. It was more how careless he was in possession. Like, if I'm being clear there. But like, I don't want to say Danny Garcia had a bad game, but I didn't think, like, I thought it was mediocre. I didn't think it was anything special. Like, if I'm picking my players that I thought were my worst performers, it's Carmo, El Kabi, and Moussakitis. And then my best players today are Kostulas, Gelson, Rodinei. And then he's just kind of with everybody else. I was not like overly happy, but I wasn't I don't know. I didn't think he was that great today. So, but that's off of memory. When I look at the stats later, I could be wrong, but this is just me from the eye test today.
It's Garcia that he's one of those players, like, you don't really see visibly big qualities apart of the fact he's consistent, but when he's not there, it's kind of missing too at the same time. It's not gonna do what Iborra did last season, because Iborra was for me better, but it does bring something. It's just that when Heze came in, we thought that we need to expect better from Garcia when it comes to passing, to being closer to the box, or at least during set pieces. But the season is not ended yet, and the guy has massive experience. So I really hope he's gonna bring it during AEK, during Europe, during those games, because it's no mystery if Garcia was signed by Mendilibar and he ended up being key player for a team that is top 8 Europa League and leader of the league. He participated on that. Like, we can't say he wasn't part of it. I'm still expecting better, but if we do recall how Garcia was playing at the beginning of the season, it's quite a miracle the guy still starts game for us. Like, he improves quite a lot.
He plays well in derbies usually, and Europe. Like, that's where he excels.
It does.
He provides coverage for the other players to move forward, like, and to excel at what they're good at. It's exactly Bora's role, which was like, Eze was he was good last season, but he really took the next step once he was able to just press forward without any problem. Eze, when we forced him into like that 6 role with Martinez, he was fucking shit because he'd get caught out of position all the time, man. He could not play the 6 and sit in front of the defenders, spray passes, whatever. Garcia frees Eze to go do the press, which he's great at, and to win balls up the pitch. And I think that's an important role, to have an experienced player to understand positioning and where he needs to be in certain places in the pitch to fill in for others who move further up. I think he's a very valuable player on the team. Like, I think the role is very important because I think he brings a balance to our midfield that we lack when a player like him is not in there, because I don't think Stamenic can do it. I don't think Eze can do it. I don't think none of them can do it except for him. The only person who could have done it was probably Doi, maybe could have played that role at
Wait
some
a minute.
point.
You mean the role covering for the defense?
Yes, the 6.
Oh, okay. I could see that. But I mean, for me, the stark difference between the two, Heze has to have he has to be in his area You know what I mean? Like that right side, if you ask him to do more than that and cover more ground, he opens things up in our midfield. But like you see the difference when Houzouris is there and working in the press trap. Houzouris intercepts the ball more than any other player in the team. And you see that there. I didn't think I agree with you with Danny Garcia's value. I just didn't think he was that good today. I thought he was getting beaten like a drum in the midfield. Personally.
I think we're having I think we're maybe over exaggerating a little bit. Like, I don't think he had a great game. I don't think he had a poor game. I think he did what Danny Garcia does. Newsflash, I don't think we have not replaced the Iborra position from last season. Danny Garcia can't do it. He can't do it. There's nobody in the squad right now that can play that role. And it is, I agree, it's a problem. But also it's just not the way we play this season, really. Like, we've played that double pivot, no clear six, no Jan Mbila, no Iborra kind of sitting in front of the defense, protecting and guiding the other players around the pitch. Danny Garcia doesn't. I mean, he does help with his experience, obviously. But yeah, like that. I don't think we need to bang on about him anymore.
I'm just going to add something about what Costa said about Iborra. The take is that with Iborra, Fortunis, and Potense leaving, like the club went back to the present era of football. If you do look the team we compete with in Europe, who's playing Iborra kind of player as a 6 in top Europa League team?
Yeah.
Who's starting a number 10 that decided to defend when he was like 31? But I do love Potense too, like the quality he has as a winger. But only Galatasaray or Fenerbahce maybe consider starting those guys. The thing is, we matured so much as a team by letting the 3 of them leave. Even if I do like all of them 3, the team is more modern now, if that makes sense.
No,
we waited for weeks to replace Iborra, but we can't.
The only team I can think of that really plays or played a 6, like Rodri at City, kind of played that holding role. And look at how poor City have been when they've lost him this season. But I can't think of many other teams that really play that kind of archetype player in the midfield that we're talking about. But I know what you mean. Like, I know what you mean.
That was kind of old school.
Yeah.
We'll see. I think the biggest frustration of today's game was just that it was like deja vu of all the points we've lost this season where we didn't convert the fucking chances and we dropped points. But today we didn't drop points, but it still feels like we were very close to about to. So people are still kind of, they have PTSD from us dropping all these points against Asteras, like all of this shit all over the season where we just like had insane XG and we never scored. So I think there's just some demons coming out of people who are just like, we held on, yes, but we very, very well could have drew this game today and lost control. I think that's kind of the vibe I'm getting from people in the chat. But
well, on that point, and we talked about this in the last live with El Kabi and kind of some of his more frustrating performances today. Today was a day I would have said, let's bring in Yaremchuk on. El Kabi's struggling, but we didn't. And Mendilibar, waits. If he does sub Yaremchuk on, he gets his 5 minutes at the end of the game, 5-6 minutes at the end of the game. So I'm going to ask the question again. Should we be subbing El Kabi out? Should we be trying to sub him out earlier and maybe more often? Today, I think he was, if I had to pick a worst player on the pitch, it would probably, the worst, it was probably him.
We literally don't have a backup striker right now. Like,
we don't.
The manager does not consider Yaremchuk for any moments that are like any semi-decently important moment. Yaremchuk will not come on. Like, the manager So I don't know, what we're doing there. Like, what was the decision that was made in winter? Like, he picked up a little bit of form, but it's just, if we're not going to use him at all or give him chances, it's really perplexing to me. Like, why didn't we keep the Jefte? Anyway, yeah, why didn't we just keep him around maybe to put in moments like this? But Yaramchuk has proven, like, he's not giving us goals, but he's not shit, like, in the hold up in the press. He's big guy, but he's like not slow or clunky, super clunky. He's not like a target man people make him out to be. I think
But
he's
he
been
moves the ball well.
He's much better on the ball.
Yeah, I think he's quite good, but people think, oh, he's tall and clunky, he's a target man striker, and he's not. And I don't get why he didn't come on today, like 70, 75. Just, it was clear Alkabi like didn't have it today, like a lot of days.
I'm gonna go further. I think he needs to sit his ass on the bench for a couple of games. Like today, I kicked off about him. I mean, I don't know if the linesman put his flag up on the header that he missed, but like Ari and I talked about it, I think, on the last pod, and we were both like, it almost feels like it's sacrilege to criticize him because of what he's done, and we'll never forget. But I think it's just kind of, all Olympiacos fans need to remember that this is football. It's brutal. We need to think carefully about what we do with him this summer as well. We don't want an El Arabi repeat. We got the best out of El Arabi, and then we probably should have moved him on before we did. It's a bigger conversation, but right now it's not enough for me what he gives in some of these games. Like, of course we know he's not that player that's really going to offer us much in build up, and we know that he's going to get in the right spots and he's going to have chances. But at the same time, I feel like just he needs some more motivation. Something just like a few games on the bench might do him some good, is my feeling.
I appreciate everything the guy does in the press. Like, he works so hard off the ball.
He scored 2 goals against Olympiacos as well.
No, it's not. Like, we can recognize this is what I hate sometimes with the Olympiacos fans.
See, there it is.
Because we always believe that there's mutual exclusivity here, right? Like, look, we can acknowledge that El Kabi, he has 27 goal contributions, guys. 22 goals, 5 assists this season. We had said last season, or at the end of last season, the summer, when we renewed him, there was no way we thought he could break 30 goals in another season. Like, that's very difficult. But we had said, if this guy can get you over 20 goals, 20, 25 goals, you're happy with that. That's great. That's great. And he's on pace. He actually is still on pace to get 30 goals this season. But you can still say, like, look, man, this guy misses a lot of chances. In the second half of last season, El Kabi had one of the most absurd goal-scoring efficiencies I've seen of a striker for us. Like, it was absurd. We can't expect him to repeat that. And he's actually doing like pretty good still this season. We have to say that. But again, it doesn't take away from the fact that this guy will miss 3 to 4 opportunities before he scores. So I don't necessarily think it's unreasonable for us to say, hey, look, man, if he's struggling and it's not happening, like, first of all, in the 60th, 70th minute, this guy's been running his ass off. Let's save him. We don't have another backup. Put Yaramchuk in. Fresh legs, first of all, and the guy gives you a different dimension as a striker. There's 2 things I worry about, right? One, I don't want us to run El Kabi into the ground and lose him. Imagine we lose El Kabi for a long period of time. How screwed are we? How screwed are we? He accounts for so many of our goals this season. That's one. 2, at the same time, if it's not working, you want a different look anyway. And Yaremchuk gets into great scoring positions, if nothing else. So I don't understand why we spent all this money for this guy. He's on a pretty big wage here, and we spent money. If you're not going to at least use him 10, 15 minutes a game, not just to give El Kabi a rest, but when El Kabi's struggling out there. And I agree, like El Kabi gives you those chances. That's why you don't sub him early. But here you are, man, in the 70th minute, and the guy's blowing everything he gets, and you see him slowing down. You got to use your depth, man. You have to. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. We all have great respect for El Kabi. I don't think there's a single person in this room here, or in this virtual room, I should say, that doesn't love El Kabi or doesn't believe El Kabi is one of the best strikers, if not the best striker to play for this club. But there's a reality that we have to recognize here. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. All these things can be true. He is the best striker that we've had at this club. He's incredible. He's scoring tons of goals. He'll probably score 30 goals. But at the same time, he wastes a lot of chances. Like, all these things are true. I don't understand why this is a problem to admit.
I'll give you Yaremchuk minutes in the league. You want to hear it? He played 28 minutes against Panathinaikos after the game was over. 7 minutes Asteras. He played 60 minutes against Olympiacos. That was like his big game. Before that, it was 3 minutes, 1 minute, 5 minute, 5 minute, on the bench, 15 minute, on the bench, nose injury, on the bench, 56 minutes Asteras, 5 minutes Olympiacos. That's all the way back to October in the league. So that's maybe like 3 games max. Less than 3. Actually, could be less than 2 games total of minutes like that he's played in the league since October.
Does it have to do with El Kaabi or Yaremchuk? Because the question is, if we had a different second striker, would he start? I'm not even sure.
Because
I think that
Yaremchuk broke his nose for the Kalitea game, so he didn't play those games either. He played 16 minutes and scored a goal against Panathinaikos in the first leg of the cup. Can anyone perform on that? Can anyone score goals in those circumstances? Like, no, I don't think like any backup striker.
But also, minutes, he hasn't scored in any on the game he started. Like you mentioned, Asteras, he hasn't scored. Olympiacos, it did not score. I think the turning point of the season is the nose injury, because he was coming in like quite strongly on that game, if you remember.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna say he was about to score, but he was about to have more situations, and it could have had like challenge a little bit more El Kaabi, but I don't really think that it could have been playing more than he has been. El Kaabi does not leave any room for a striker to play over him.
Yeah.
Unless the score is secured, you always want to have the guy that can score at any moment.
Exactly. Yeah, he can score at any moment. That's the thing. You can't take him off.
No, yeah, you can't take him off
because
early.
That's who he is, man. Like, he scored that his game in the final of the Conference League. Like, we can go back to that, was like pretty mediocre, and then he scores the most important.
He didn't touch the ball, man. He didn't touch the ball. Milenkovic had him in his pocket all game.
Yeah.
Until that moment.
You know what concerns me less than El Kaabi is the rest of the fucking guys not being able to score goals.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know about you guys. Like, I know El Kaabi is frustrating, blah blah blah, but the fact that fucking Gelson, Martins, Velde, like no one is able to effing score goals other than El Kaabi. For me, that's the issue. It's not El Kaabi. You know, the issue is that no one else is capable of scoring, it seems, on the team right now. No one. Luis Palma, man, what are we doing today? That was it. That was horrible, man. Masouras is proud. He's watching from Germany after the elections, happy, man. He's not.
De La Fuente's career ended for less.
Masouras buried that, man. He buried that.
He buries that.
What are you talking about?
Into row 20. But yes. Anyway, it's just, man. You know, what do they need? Like, what does Gelson Martins, what does Palma, what does Velde they need at this point to score goals because it's Kostulas and it's Okabe.
Well, hold
man.
on a
That's
minute.
all we got.
Hold on a minute. Balma hasn't even played 200 minutes yet. But
I
I agree
know,
with
but
you with Gelson.
God, that
Gelson,
goal-
dude. Gelson will dribble through 5 people and then kill a bird with his shot, man. That his final product. But let's be honest, dude. If Gelson Martins had a final product, he would not be here. It's as simple as that.
I agree.
I just
It doesn't.
it's
The guy does
frustrating.
not trust himself.
Yeah,
Like-
maybe. Or he's just exhausted after he's
No.
finished running through 5
But
people.
he's getting. I feel like he's building confidence more so. I don't know. Maybe I'm ridiculous, but I felt today he like stepped on the game pretty well today.
Are you still talking about Gelson now?
Yeah, talking about Jelson.
Man,
You know what?
the dribble he makes at the end in the 89th minute,
Yeah.
where he's wide left and he just like pings the ball in front of the defender and runs like. He looked cooked to me at one point. I thought, he's given everything today. I don't know if he has much more, and we all know he's injury prone. But I think to your point, his confidence is improved. He's come back after that injury, scored a goal in the last game leading into this one. And, man, if he did have a final product, like Ari said, he wouldn't be playing here. But guys, today there's 2 things that broke, broke tradition, if I can call it that. We won our first game without Chiquinho in the side, and we won a game without Okabe scoring.
Yeah. 2 huge things.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, and direct free kick goal. When was the last time that made the last goal?
We
Maybe
picked it
Jordi
out. It was
Dominguez
almost
in like
4 years ago.
2014, man.
No, I think we found one in like 4 years ago. There was one.
Fortuna's free kick, probably.
I think it was, yeah. I have
Against
to go find
Burnley?
it. I
No.
found it. I found the last free kick goal that we had. It was like 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. So
Incredible.
even if it was like the weirdest, like Kotarski so misjudged that. That was so funny, man. He hesitated on the bounce, then he goes, then it hits the. I laughed so hard watching that ball go.
I don't know if you guys watched the Panathinaikos game,
I
but
did.
that guy Furtado just banged one on the left foot. Like Jelson, sometimes I'm like, just bang it, man. Just hit it, man. You know what I mean? Because he just like he does the podence. He's like, I'm gonna be clinical and tap it, and it just like dribbles out or to the goalkeeper,
Yeah.
and it's like, has that ever worked for you in your life? Like, have you ever scored from doing? Just hit the damn thing. Like Furtado, this guy Furtado came in from Panathinaikos Vita, whatever, and he's just like, screw it, man. I'm gonna hit this thing with as much power as I can on my left foot. Bang, flew in top corner. Like, who would have thought? Horta does this all the time, where he's like, screw it, I'm just gonna hit this thing as hard as I can, and it works sometimes. Just need that.
It does. Well, Gelson at least took the shots today, so like there's that. He took a lot more. Also,
I'm trying
that
to think
Furtado
who hits the ball weaker, Podence first season Martins or Jelson? Like, who hits the ball?
Oh no, Podence first season, man. Podence first season, like I knew.
Podence
I
would, like,
honestly
pass
knew
the
high school
ball to the
kids that could
goalkeeper.
rip it faster.
You know what Gelson needs? He needs to do toe punch. You know what it is in English?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You need that
He needs
toe
toe
punch.
punch like Ronaldo in 2002. You know, because when you had the run like Gelson had, when you're a dribble player, you don't have energy to finish as powerful as you need to. Like toe punch, we were taught that when we were small kids. It's ugly, but when you're in the area, you have to finish like that from time to time.
Toe punt. Oh man.
I
If
have
it
to look
goes
for
in,
the
I
word
don't
in English.
care. He can toe punt. He can whatever punt as long as the ball goes in at some point.
This is what I was bringing up. The Adi
Oh, this is hilarious.
Yeah.
hilarious.
Go, Adi.
I posted it on our socials, but this guy, like, I was wondering why he ran by their bench, and he's like,
He was shushing them.
I was like, "There's nobody in the stadium. Who are you shushing?"
For real?
Yeah, crazy, man. Like, literally, and apparently he chased the bus for like a kilometer. Terrible.
That's some real Super League 2 story, leaving the player behind, and he runs behind the bus.
Like
That's
these
crazy.
guys, like Lamia hasn't scored a goal since January 12th, and they come in and do this to Panathinaikos.
Are you
It's
serious?
comedy.
Are you
I'm serious.
January
Yeah.
12th?
So amazing. Anyway, I don't even remember what we were
Wrap.
talking to before that.
We'll wrap. Let's just like move this subject to something else. Like, Costa, you want to go ahead and say something?
Did you guys talk about Carmo?
Briefly,
I
but let's
brought
spend
up
more time on it.
Pirola being good, less than Karma being horrible. But yes, we did briefly touch on it.
Do you think Pirola starts the 8 games?
I think he starts the cup.
I think, yeah, definitely. Definitely starts on, was it Wednesday? We play them Wednesday, don't we?
Yep. We play them 2 times in a row. We play them at home
Yeah.
in the cup, and then we play them away for the league.
Yeah.
I'd start Pirola and Biancon, man. Again, I don't know the health of Rezos, but that partnership is slowly becoming just as solid as the first team partnership at moments. It's really.
I don't think Retos is going to be back until like mid-March.
No, they said
Best
3
case.
weeks, right?
Do we have an international break at some point?
We do.
Or are those? When is that?
March.
Is March?
It's after the Bodo games.
Okay.
I think it's after one Bodo game, right?
The next one's in April.
No, because the Bodo games are back to back.
They are
We
back
play
to back.
them, then we play them again the week after.
That's right, because we don't play the second leg for the Kipelo until April, I think, if I remember the schedule.
That's what's
right.
in April. Yeah, that's what's in April.
Yeah, you're
correct.
right. Yeah.
So,
Also, someone mentioned it, but I'm just waiting. I remember watching Velde highlights when we signed him. How many headers did this guy score in the back post? Can we get one Velde header goal? I'm just
Really?
Yeah, man. If you go back,
he had a couple, yeah.
Yeah, that was like one of his things. Like the guy's huge for fullbacks, man. Coming from the back post, it's like 6'2", 6'3".
I was disappointed with him. I was disappointed with him today.
Every time I see us play with 2 wingers, Velde, Gelson, Willian, I'm like, oh, oof. And there's no Chiquinho Cosulas. I'm like, ooh. Because I just don't think we're very good with 2 wingers on the pitch. I don't know. That's one of my things as well.
We're not. I also don't like, can I be honest with you? Like when Palma came in, he went on the right side. He was playing on the right. He switched to the left, and he went back to the right again. And I don't understand like this thing that we do with wingers. We bring a winger in. He has success playing on the left wing. And then it's like, no, you're going to play on the right. Oh, no, I'm going to switch you for
Johnny
10 minutes.
Otto came off. I think it was because Otto came off. He wanted to put like fresh legs against who was playing. Yeah, Baba.
Whoever they pushed back, maybe Tyson.
No, he wanted Gelson to go against their right back replacement.
Right, that was
the kind of
idea. We were playing with Palma as a second striker at one point, and Cosulas out on the right, and Gelson out on the left. It was like, what's going on here? Like, where are these guys playing?
Sometimes
he likes to do that, man. I mean, you could say he's a rigid manager, but actually I suppose he does give them a lot. I don't know if it's an instruction, like he gives them the freedom to kind of roam in those 3 positions behind the striker. And Costulas, like we know Costulas is kind of playing as a second striker closer to Okabe when we're not in possession so that he can press. He almost scored. Did you talk about that?
Yeah.
How many times he did that for the youth team last season, man? He must have scored like 3 or 4 goals by pressing up on the goalkeeper and the defenders and scoring goals off deflections like that. He almost got another one.
This is an interesting question from Fetano.
I think you replace Carmo with Abi if he has a good second half of the season. Or don't replace, bring him in, and then Pirola moves up to your first choice left-footed central defender. Personally.
Yeah.
But I have a question also for you guys. I've seen this so much with Greek Cup games. Do you start like a full-strength team and try to get a result in this first leg, or are we going to see that rotated side and we're going to see a 0-0 or 1-1 going to Opaparina to play for it all? Like, I think I know the answer. Do you rotate? What do you guys do? What do you?
I rotate for the cup. I'll be honest with you. I give this many shits about the Greek Cup. Like if it comes to like me, hey, I'm prioritizing because we've got so many games in 10 days. Greek Cup, I put some rotation and I'm saving my core starters for Sunday. in Opapa Arena. Like that's my preference.
So you go, let's say you're going to go Pascal Alexis in goal. Let's read through it, okay? You start Costinha on the right, I guess.
Yeah.
You start Biancon, Pirola, obvious, I guess.
Onyemaechi on the left.
Onyemaechi, he's going to get a start against Ike. Is that his first start? I think it would be.
Yep.
It would be.
I guess you brought him for that. So at the back, Eze didn't start. You start Eze, I guess.
Yes.
And sub early if I
You
did
s-
that
you-
because
you
I want him
start
starting
Eze?
Sunday. Yeah.
You
I
start
want him-
Eze?
Stamenic.
And
Stamenic.
Is Stamenic going to start?
It's
Thursday?
time
Let's
for
do it.
redemption. It's time
I
for
guess it's
redemption.
time.
Stamenic.
And then you go.
Kovacevic talked a great game about Stamenic, so why not?
And then for me, you go Velde Palma, I guess, Orta, Yaramchuk.
Yeah.
Or is that too much?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the lineup. It's like kind of written itself if you're going to do the rotation thing. So I don't know.
I wouldn't be against it, man. I wouldn't be against it.
Orta playing like the Costulas second striker role, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And your midfield is Stamenic, Eze. That sounds okay.
Yeah.
I still think
Ibarra's gonna have he's gonna blow a gasket on the sideline because Orta can't do the pressing, but it is what it is.
I still think he's going to go El Kabi on Wednesday.
You think?
Probably right.
Yeah.
He started him against Panathinaikos, right? First leg.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
Yaramchuk subbed on, and scored the goal.
Yeah.
Am I missing something?
Cinnamon.
Papa Cinnamon. on the way.
Good one.
But it's an interesting dilemma. I don't know. I wonder maybe if he starts Orta and Costulas, maybe he doesn't play Velde and Palma. I think that's the one. Like he's got to make a few. Maybe he keeps Costulas on for the press. I have no idea what he's thinking.
Well, without
does
Chiquinho,
something-
you need Costulas there. You need Costulas
Yeah.
pressing. Like Costulas, dude, he works hard as crap, man. Like you give that to him. I mean, he works almost as hard as Chiquinho does. So for me, I wouldn't want to start him, man. Like there's too much riding on the season for us. Like we could get a guaranteed Champions League spot by winning our league. As long as we get a result or so in this round against Bodo Glimt, we can get guaranteed Champions League phase. Like that to me, sorry, Greek Cup, I don't care. Like whatever.
Like Greek Cup, never heard of it. Where's Greek Cup even going to happen, man? Like fucking Panathinaikos Stadium this year? I don't know.
Have they decided?
Doxa Drama Stadium or something?
I think they've decided Oaka this year.
Oh, cause I think that's where they want to do it
would
all
say,
the
yeah.
time now, right?
I don't know, man.
Like so that there can be consistency. I thought they were going to say they were gonna do that.
The thing is, right? Like there's two questions here. The first question you said, like, do you want to, like, should we rotate the team? Should we prioritize the league? Yes. And then the second question is, do you want to beat Ajax? And the answer is yes. So you have to put out a team that you think can go out and beat them. And you're playing at home, man. You're playing at home.
I know.
So
I know.
It's an extra day of I don't know the word. It's an extra
To
day.
be fair,
of
we didn't
rest.
play it. We got more rest because we got the Europa League buys as well. We haven't been playing midweek games, so the players shouldn't be exhausted, man. Like they should be able to go.
Nothing indicates they're gonna be exhausted. By the way,
No. Also, to be honest,
Rob
when
named
Johnny
it.
Otto went off, man, like we played 10 minutes bit of coasting at the end. Like it wasn't like high press, survival, defending a lead. It was more just like passing the ball around. So
I don't know, man. Guys, I haven't taken the Greek Cup seriously ever since the COVID fiasco when we played the final literally like in the next season. Like this is a disaster of a competition. I'm glad the current Epo is trying to take it seriously, but I don't. So I really could give two shits. Like let this small team, let Ike have whatever. I don't think it's going to be easy for them no matter who plays, but like for me, I'm prioritizing. There's too much riding on the league this year. I would love to win the double, the domestic double. I would love to, but like if push comes to shove, man.
I'd like to see some of these players who are just like, are you going to contribute here at the end of the season? Like Stamenic is probably last chance Thursday. It's last chance, man. Like
do you mean that?
Onyemachi, are you gonna
stuck?
are you gonna be part of this team? Like Onyemachi, are you gonna be like a choice here? Like, there's gonna be players who are like playing to play. You know what I mean? Like there's not many games left, man. Like you look, not many games left. There's 2 cup games.
No.
There's like those 6 playoff games and then 2 more league games. So we have 8 league games left, I believe. Is that correct?
We play after today. We play Ike in the league, and then we play Ofi, right?
Ofi,
Okay.
and then we play 6 games in the playoff. We got 8 league games, man. Like,
Wait, am I missing a game?
No, that's it, man.
Was this match day 24? I thought it was match day 23.
It's
It was match
24.
day 24.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then okay, I wasn't thinking back correctly. So
it's like the end. It's time for some of these guys. Like, I don't know, like Onyemachi, like Stamenic. They want to contribute. They want to. Who knows? Yaramchuk as well. Like, I don't know. We'll see, guys. What I think it's going to be a super interesting game, regardless. So
Jumping on that because I need to leave. I'm just gonna name my MVP today. That was Gelson because I do want to highlight the energy he had. Coach is great. Gonna be A for Mendilibar because the lineup was good and the subs were good for most of them. I'm just excited to see what's gonna come next. Like, we are gonna play in highly interesting games since mid-May, if not more. So let's bring it, man. We are fans to face games like that. Not easy Greek games against Olympiacos and stuff. So let's bring the competition. And that will be my conclusion. So see you soon, maybe on Wednesday after
Sounds
another
good.
win.
Yes.
Hopefully.
Bonne nuit, mon ami.
Bye-bye, guys.
good
Ciao,
night,
Marcel.
Marcel. I see. Oh, okay. I saw this comment of him counting the games off. I was like, wait, what? But let's just say there's some assumptions being made there.
Did anyone read? I think we should say it, like Mari Camara's statement.
I didn't.
Player that got
see
shit
it.
on. He said, Olympiacos gave me everything in my life, but now I play for PAOK, and it's my job to score. I didn't feel it was appropriate to celebrate against Olympiacos out of respect to the club.
No, I appreciated that. I think
For the amount of shit that guy got, like,
yeah.
He
I didn't
have to do
think
that.
I didn't expect him to do that, to be honest. The way he was treated by some people. So
If it were like, I was really like, hats off, like respect, how he reacted after the goal. I do ask myself, for the sake of the discussion, if he does that in Tuba, if he scores in Tuba, does he do the same? Don't know. Doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter that much to me. But I agree. I mean, we know some things too about what happened, or there's a lot to say. But he was at the club long enough, man. I think his words were, credit to him. Credit to him for saying things how they are, and he wasn't, he didn't express any bitterness. Like, good for him, man.
I think he was mature about it. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
He's matured. I think he came to Olympiacos like as a kid from the second division in France, and if anything, now
maybe
he's
he
a
had
bit
too
like
much
that.
success too fast. Like he kind of came in, he became a starter, he ends up winning the league, he's playing Champions League. Actually, when he first started becoming like a starter, it was him and Guilherme. We won the double that season.
Yeah.
We played Champions League, and then maybe he thought he was maybe bigger than he was, and he had a little dose of humble pie after some bad chances at Roma, then not doing so well here again. So maybe there's a little bit of maturation there.
He's having a good season.
He's having a great season at PAOK, man. He never would have scored that header for us. The amount of he killed so many birds. That never would have happened here. But he found his scoring shoes at PAOK. Good for him.
Yeah,
He
scored
was the one
8
making
goals.
those crosses. He's the one who made those crosses back in the day for us. He wasn't the guy in the box, I feel, under Martin's system.
But he's got 8 goals this season, 8 headers.
Impressive.
Mad. Yeah. And he's not shooting from 35 yards every game.
Nope. He's kind of all over the place.
It was that one goal he scored where he hugged Yaya Toure, man.
Yeah.
And he was like, I can do this, baby. I can cook. And he never cooked ever again. But it's like one of those times where you're like, God, I wish you didn't score that goal against like Olympiacos at 5-0 at home.
But then he would he scored that goal against AEK. Do you remember the curler he scored in the playoffs?
Yeah. And the goal against Neftchi Baku, that was a sweet goal before he got sent off. You remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I almost forgot about that match too.
The COVID games, but yeah. Anyway,
Insane.
I guess we should wrap up. Ari, Costa, anything left to say?
No, I think that's it. I think the 2-horse race is starting to materialize.
I got some news. I got some news for people.
Oh God!
Since we drew Bode Glimt in the next round, we're going to have a special guest on the show to talk to us about Bode Glimt.
Oh my!
For those of you watching, we're going to get Omar El Abdellaoui back on the show.
Oh yeah,
back on the show. Show. Because we did do an interview with him. If you haven't checked out the interview, shame on you. Go and save it in your watch later stuff on YouTube and go and check the interview out. But yeah, Omar El Abdellaoui is going to be coming to the show to talk to us about the game. So don't miss that one.
Costa, I think I and the fans, because I am also a fan of this project, need an Omar Costa vlog at one of the games, either away or at home. Like we need that,
man.
like a co-vlog. How sweet would that be? Like,
don't do this to me.
Especially in frozen Norway.
My wife's my wife's like over there somewhere. Like she's gonna be like, yeah, you're not going to fucking Norway.
It's for work, Costa. It's for work.
God, what an epic vlog.
Like Glimt isn't even anywhere near Oslo. I think it's like if to get a plane to Glimt, it's further north.
It's like the North Pole, man. You fly over Santa to get.
That's such a great idea, though. Like it would be amazing to do. It's like I think Tromsø is the only place that's further north than Glimt.
Oh my God!
And Tromsø's like full on in the Arctic Circle.
Yeah, people travel there yearly to travel and visit Santa's village.
It's near Santa's village. Jesus. Oh my God, that's ridiculous. God bless it. The poor players that have to play there in the Arctic. Unreal. All right, let's do this. Man of the match coach is great. You heard Martial's. Guys, if you haven't voted already, now's the chance. We're doing man of the match coaches grade. A bunch of you have already. This is your last chance to get your votes in. Here? So Martial was Gelson. A for the coach. Lambro, you're next.
I thought the subs were good today. My first reaction to the lineup was like, oof, I wouldn't have started Velde and Gelson. I would have played Eze as well in the midfield. Their midfielders are such bullies, that's their thing. But I'll give him B+ because I think the starting lineup, but his reaction was excellent. I think the subs that came on were exactly right. Pirola for Carmo, who was ready to get sent off. And also the Orta sub and Palma subs were excellent as well. So for me, B+, A- for the manager. Man of the match, really interesting. Like I'm inclined to say Gelson as well, but I want to give a shout out to Lorenzo Pirola, man. I think he basically shut it down, man. He was just like game over. Nothing's going by at this point. So actually, I'm gonna give it to Pirola because I think he kept a quote unquote clean sheet after that. After he came on, it was just kind of like nothing's happening for the rest of this game. So I'll give it to Pirola. Ari, Costa,
go. I could go if you want. It's up to you.
Go, Ari, go.
So my man of the match, I'm going to give to Rodinei today. I mean, forget just the goal. He had a number. He learned how to cross today. He learned how to take set pieces. He learned how to cross today. He had a number of balls that was like, man, how did we miss that? Come on. The guy he should have had an assist today on top of the goal that he scored. So good on him, man. I thought Rodinei was fantastic down that right side. I thought he had an amazing game. Shouts, of course, for Gelson and Babistuta as well. I thought Kostulas was all over the place. I thought he replaced Chiquinho well. The effort on the press, man. Kostulas almost had a goal jumping in front of the goalkeeper when he ran in to press him, and the ball deflected off of him for a goal kick. Like that was pretty close to going in to the goal at that point. I mean, he had quite a few opportunities where he pressed, got deflections off the line. So I love his effort. He's a shout, but I'm going to give it in the end to Rodinei because I think Rodinei probably put us in the best positions, I think, to score outside of Gelson Martins. And then I'm going to give Mendilibar an A. If I'm being nitpicky, it's the Danny Garcia start. I would have preferred Heze. I like the subs. I would have liked to see El Kabi subbed out at some point. If I'm being nitpicky, but I think he handled the game well. I liked his changes and I like the approach.
I'm going to be super simple. I like the fact that we've all tried to pick different people because I think it's easy to say Gelson Martins is the man of the match. He finished the game. He was a constant threat. You can criticize him for his lack of efficiency in front of goal, and sometimes, Labro, you mentioned earlier, he's getting into those positions, and you're just hit it, just like have a shot on goal. But I'm going to give it to Babistuta, just in keeping with the fact that everybody's picked someone different today, but also because for reasons Ari mentioned, he was fantastic. Like he had full of energy as always, and man, he scored a banger like inside the box. Like it's one of those goals you score on like FIFA or Pro Evolution or whatever. He just gets it. He's got the defender in front of him. The ball goes through his legs and just through the keeper. Bang. So lovely. That's his second goal against PAOK this season as well, after the one that he scored out there. Yep. Good for him, man. Happy for him, and replaced Chiquinho like super well in everything, and bought everything that we've come to expect and love in him, in the energy and the physicality, and just it doesn't cease to amaze me that his physicality, his presence, like the way that he can just bully grown men at the age of 17. And also, guys, his what's the word? The Askelismos, like the way he accelerates, like when he gets the ball, when his body opens up. He's a big boy, man. He's like 184, 18. He's taller than me. It's probably like close to Labros's height.
He's about my height, I think. I'm 6'2". I think he's like 6'1". So he'll probably be my height. He's 17.
Man, he's a big boy, and he's growing, and his touch, man, his touch is so good. Like his hold up play, my God.
And I just one thing about him is just he has more goals than Fotis Ioannidis, excuse me. Just
does he?
Yeah, in the league. Fotara, man, 5 goals. What if El Kabi only had 5 goals this season, man? We'd never hear the end of it.
No,
that's all true. I got. For the lovers of stats, that's what Stefanos in the WhatsApp group always says.
77 kilos, by the way, for Babis Kostulas.
He's a big kid.
That's light for someone his height, actually. He's got to be pretty lean then. Very lean.
Yeah. I expected him to be closer to like 80 kilos. But you know what? Like,
yeah, for sure.
That leaner athlete muscle is still like, he's still growing, I guess.
I don't know. He's got me beat.
Surely he's done enough to earn a call up to the national team.
100%. Him and Muzakiti should be there. Easy.
Muzakiti's already there.
I prefer
if they don't, I think it'll be embarrassing. I think it's embarrassing if they don't. Didn't he just win Player of the Month? as well.
He did December. In December, he did. I thought.
No. Okay.
Did he win it again for January?
I saw a post, but you're right. It was like, oh, he won Player of the Month of December. And I was like, hang on, we're in February. Like, what's going on here?
I don't
They
know
take
who
their
won
time at
Player of the
Greek
Month
Super
in
League.
January.
They take their time.
Yeah. Anyway,
Mendilibar, I didn't say A minus, and the reason I'm nitpicking is just I wanted him to take El Kabi out. It's just like, just take him off and get the Ukrainian on. But okay.
He doesn't score goals, but like I don't hate when Yaramchuk's on the pitch. Maybe that's bad for me to say, but I'm just like,
I mean, he doesn't score
he's
goals.
like,
The guy, he's played 500 minutes, not even 500 minutes.
But he's like also when I watch him, he's just like, he's not fucking bad, man. Like, I don't know. He's not like tragic footballer. You like watch him play and you're like, oh yeah,
Far
like,
from.
I see why this guy. Yeah, I was like, I see why this guy has gotten moves to a lot of big teams.
He's got
The
good movement, man.
the touch, the pass, the little interplay. It's just like not happens with the goals. It feels like in the games he started.
He's only played 500. He hasn't played 500 minutes.
But Martial's right. Like he's just like every single game he has started where he gets pulled at 55th minute, around there, and it's like he just hasn't got like the goal in one of his starts because I think that's what would win him more time. He just has not got it. So
that's interesting. It's interesting you raise that because okay, like people are going to start shitting on me and think I have an anti-El Kabi agenda, but like El Kabi, sometimes he's on the pitch and like he's played 60 minutes and he would have missed like 2 sitters and then another opportunity before he scores the 1 goal, 2 goals like he scored against Panathinaikos. But with Yaramchuk, to your point, 55th minute you haven't scored. Yeah, you're off. Yeah. It's not okay. El Kabi's earned it.
Yeah,
but yeah.
I just
between
feel
the league and the cup.
If it's gonna happen, Adi, if it's gonna happen, like it's happening if he starts in the cup against AEK at home. Like if he's gonna score a goal, like it's gonna be a start, or it's gonna be against Ofi if he plays against Ofi at home. I think that's in a few weeks. But that's it.
I agree
those
with you.
That's it. You're not benching El Kabi in the playoffs. Like that's not happening.
No, of course not. Of course not.
So this
is like
it.
If we're looking at the Yaramchuk thing, right? Like top down in the league and the cup, like someone came to me and said Yaramchuk's played 15 games and he's only got like 2 goals. I was like, yeah, between the league and the cup, he doesn't even have 300 minutes.
That's crazy.
And he's got 2 goals and an assist, dude. Like let's look at that top down, right? Yeah, sure. He's got 15 appearances for 5, 8, 10, 20 minutes at a time. He hasn't played 300 minutes. In the league and the cup combined.
It's like a little over 3 games, man. That's crazy. It's like a little over 3 games, basically.
Exactly. And he still has 2 goals and an assist. What do you want? I don't understand what more you want from a guy like that. Let's be honest here.
We're just gonna have to wait and see, man. Like I think Wednesday's game is super intriguing from that point of view. So we'll be back Wednesday to talk about it, of course. So that's exciting.
Yeah. I forgot to mention, by the way, the audience voted for, so their man of the match, 34% went to Babis Kostulas, 36% went to Gelson Martins, 17% for Rodinei, and then 3% for Tsolakis.
He was busy today, huh?
He was pretty busy, yeah. So, but anyway. I think is that everything? Do we got anything else? Get ready to close up. Hour and a half in here.
8 o'clock Greek time kickoff on Wednesday against AEK home. Expecting another sellout crowd at Karaiskaki. Let's go.
8 o'clock, huh?
8 o'clock Greek time. Yeah.
It's not a super early game, but not a 3 o'clock game either. Okay.
Get your laptops ready at work, boys.
Exactly. Oh God, that American life, man, hits you in the face real hard.
100%. All right, guys. Any other comments before we close up?
Just Furtado, baby. Teaching Foti, man. He has half the amount of goals Fotis has, man. Furtado. Today.
Brussels.
America.
I live in DC. DC, beautiful Washington, DC,
Baltimore.
home of
I just
our
say
collapsing
DC
government.
now. I say I live near DC because anytime I say Baltimore, half people don't know where that is.
Doesn't count, Adi. I live in proper DC and suffer the consequences of it, so you're not allowed to say it. So
Everyone's watched The Wire. Everyone knows where Baltimore is.
yeah, just say The Wire, Adi. You live in the Wire City with the
Well, if
Greek.
people have seen The Wire, they know what Baltimore is. The ones that don't know Baltimore, they've never seen The Wire. Even though it's in
Go and-
message. But anyway,
Go and watch The Wire. Great show.
Good show.
it is a great show. Anyway,
We aren't sponsored by HBO yet.
Furtado, it is confirmed, has more goals than Fotis Ioannidis this season.
how many of Foti's goals this season are penalties of the ones he does have?
3.
Give me 1 second.
I know the one he just had to beat the almighty Vikinger was a penalty in the
They scored
94th minute.
Scored a pen against us too.
He did
Oh,
score a penalty
yes.
against us. That's right.
Hold on. Let's see.
Yeah.
That's 2.
All right, let's go to the league. Hold on. Let's say if it's a penalty. Doesn't really
Foti's
say.
penalty these.
So I can't see if it's a penalty, unfortunately, on Transfermarkt.
Well, we know he's got
Anyway.
at least 2. What does he have? 8 goals this season?
Just on
He has
his
five. Man, he has 5 goals in the league, man. What are we talking about? It's insane.
5 goals in the league. We know he's got 1 penalty in the league, 1 penalty in conference.
It's over. All right, on that, we wrap up. Come on, no more photos.
All right.
Talk, man.
See you guys. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. This is Steelers International by the fans for the fans. And I guess we're going to see you after the Greek Cup game this week. So pumped for that. We got a large, very, very tough run of fixtures. 2 against AEK. Then, of course, we have Bodo Glimt. So tune in. A lot of great stuff coming up. Check out our pages. Check out Patreon as well if you would like extra content and you would like to support us. And also watch the space as well. Don't forget the 100-year anniversary kit. Should be some news about that in the coming weeks. So look for all of that on our socials, Theater 7 International, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Help us grow the community, and we'll see you next time.